Jai Jinendra to all the dignitaries over here, and my special welcome, a warm welcome to the IFSC and Gift City who has accepted our invitations and part of us today, and to give us a knowledge and a brief about what IFSC and Gift City benefits and dedications over here. So I would like to welcome all the dignitaries. I would like to start with our Gujarat Zone Chairman, Shri Kushalji Bansali, who been the pioneer and who been the person who's pushing hard to get this project and this webinar on a place. Kushalji, just would like to have a word from you as a beginning.
Namaskar. Jai Jinendra. Respected Shri Sureshji, our Apex President, Dynamic JPF Chairman Shri Ajayji Bora, our most distinguished guest Shri Srinivas ji, Dipesh ji, Sandip ji. It takes a great pleasure to know something which is beyond expectations and beyond thought. Gift City is a brainchild of our dynamic Modi ji. I have attended 2 meetings for the same when we went to the GCCI and has the total view in the vibrant Gujarat. What I see future is a revolution in fintech through gift cities. So dear friends, it's a great opportunity. We invite all of you from the India alone and from the international level to take our JITO Ahmedabad help, to JITO Gujarat Zone help, and be part of this magnanimous journey. I'm sure that today's event will highlight all the key points of the gift city, which is going to become another international fintech hotspot. Nitesh bhai, hats off to you. So being this our pet project, today we are doing it in webinar and tomorrow we'll make it personal there. So I'm very grateful to the Gujarat Zone team, Ahmedabad chapter, Shri Chetan bhai, and the emerging team. Thank you for being here on time. And I'm also very eager to know more about all the fundamental key aspects of the gift city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kushalji. Thank you for warm words. In fact, what you said is correct. We wanted to make it a physical, but because of COVID, we couldn't make it. And today, like we're going on a webinar, but surely over a period of time, we'll invite our guests to the gift city and can have a more round and more understanding on a physical presence. I'm sure about that. I would like to welcome our own president, Sri Sureshji Murari, to be here. Sureshji, please have some word for us and gift city, sir.
Thank you very much, respected chief guest for the evening, Mr. Injeti Srinivasan, sir. Distinguished speakers, Mr. Sandip Shah and Mr. Dipesh Shah. Thank you very much on behalf of the entire JITO fraternity for having accepted to be a part of this event and to enlighten our entire JITO family about the various aspects and the features of the gift city. My dear JITO family, sabhi ko mera sadar Jai Jinendra. As the name suggests, gift city, it is truly a gift to the Indian society. I think there is a lot which is being said about gift city, but still there is a lot of confusion as to what is this going to offer to a common businessman. I was just talking about it to some of my friends, and they said that this gift city is almost going to be something like a free trade zone, which is there in Dubai and the other parts of Emirates, where you can actually set up your own business and do trading worldwide, apart from the fintech. So this confusion, I think today, hearing from the horse's mouth, I think we will be able to get a deep, in-depth knowledge and clarity, absolute clarity about this gift city. So our community, our members can actually take advantage of this and be a part of this. And I would like to really thank JPF under the dynamic leadership of Shri Ajayji and JITO Gujarat Zone under the dynamic leadership of Kushalji for having put up this extremely important event together for the benefit of JITO members. So once again, not taking much time, I would like to thank everybody, all the organizing committee, because I believe that what we see in a seminar as an outsider is just the the pleasant part of it. But there must have been a lot of hard work which have gone behind creating this event, curating this event, calling such distinguished guests, and impart, wonderful knowledge amongst our members. So once again, thank you all very, very much. And welcome you, sir, all the distinguished speakers once again on this platform of this amazing organization called JITO. I would not take much time. I'm sure you would know about JITO. I'm sure Ajay ji and Kushal ji would have given you a gist of what JITO is doing. But in short, this JITO is the world's largest single community-based organization with 67 chapters, 9 zones, and a total membership of more than 60,000 people. We have presence across the country, as well as 24 chapters across the globe. All the Jains are connected through this JITO. And I think today the knowledge that we would all get from the distinguished speakers is going to be really, really amazing and very, very useful to all of our members. Thank you all very, very much, and looking forward to a very, very useful meeting and knowledge session. Thank you very much.
Surajji, for your words, enlightened us a lot about JITO and about the GIFT City. Would like to welcome Hiteshji Doshi over here, who is Secretary JITO, and he is our sponsor for from a Wari Group, Wari Energies, who has recently filed his IPO also. Hiteshji, can I have a 2 minutes word from your side, sir, please?
Thank you very much, and Jai Jinendra and Pranam to everyone. Thank you, Srinivas sir, for giving your time and connecting the business community, and in that business community, you're talking to the trade organization, that is a Jain International Trade Organization. And congratulations to Kushal Bhai, Dilesh Bhai, Ajay ji Bora, and Milind Bhai, Tapaswi ji, entire team. I think today's meeting will give a lot of clarity to all of us, that what are the opportunities, and I'm sure with the recent budget and the provisions made there, that will help us much more. Without taking much time, again, I would like to congratulate the entire team and thank you for inviting me. Thanks.
Would like to thank Chetan Bhai, who's our Ahmedabad chapter president. Chetan Bhai.
Yes, Chetan Bhai, thank you. Thanks, Chetan Bhai.
Chetan Bhai, if you can unmute.
जय जी एवरीबॉडी। और ये जो नितेश भाई और कुशल भाई इतने टाइम से मेहनत कर रहे थे, ये फिजिकल मीटिंग भी करना था, पर ये हो नहीं पाया, पर गिफ्ट सिटी के लिए, क्योंकि उन्होंने इतना इसके बारे में नॉलेज लिया हुआ है, तो उनको ऐसा था पहले दिन से कि ये पूरे जीतो, अक्रॉस द जीतो के मेंबर को ये मालूम पड़ना चाहिए और उसका क्या बेनिफिट है। और मैं एक चीज ऐड कर दूं कि थोड़ा बहुत ये गिफ्ट सिटी को बनाने में, उसके फाउंडेशन में, मतलब उसका कंस्ट्रक्शन वगैरह में भी अपने जीतो के एफसीपी, हमारे एक्स चेयरमैन वगैरह, उनकी जो कंपनी है वो भी इसमें थोड़ी बहुत इन्वॉल्व है, और उन्होंने भी काफी मेहनत किया है वहां पे, जक्षाई भाई और जगीश भाई शाह वगैरह ने। और श्रीनिवास साहब जो आए हैं, तो गुजरात में तो लोग उनके लिए, उनसे अपॉइंटमेंट लेने के लिए और उनसे समझने के लिए ऐसे ही लोग ट्राई करते हैं, पर नितेश भाई ने इतना बढ़िया प्रोग्राम सेट करके जो किया है, आई कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट नितेश भाई। एंड मुझे पक्का यकीन है कि आज लोगों को जीतो के जितने भी लोग इसमें जुड़ेंगे, कुछ ना कुछ लेके जाएंगे। थैंक यू।
Ajay ji, would love to have something from you, and then we can start the program.
Yeah. No, let's start. I think we are running behind schedule. So, but we welcome everyone. Thanks. It's an honor for all of us. Let's get started with the program. Thank you.
So I'll not take much of our time. I would love to invite Shri Injeti Srinivasan ji to enlighten about the GIFT City about. So before we start, I'll just like to read a bio about him. Shri Injeti Srinivas belongs to the 1983 batch of Indian Administrative Service Odisha cadre. He superannuated in May 2020 after serving 37 years in various leadership roles in the Government of India and Government of Odisha. He is graduate in Economics Honours from the Shriram College of Commerce, University of Delhi, and did his Master in Business Administration from Strathclyde Graduate Business School, University of Strathclyde, UK. As a Director, Foreign Investment Promotion Board in the erstwhile Union Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, now known as the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, during 1998 to 2003, he was closely associated with the liberalization of a foreign direct investment policy and industrial policy reforms. As a chairperson, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority 2014-15, he is credited with bringing many critical medicines and including medical devices under price control to make essential medicines more affordable. As the Director General Sports Authority of India and Union Secretary of Sports 2015-17, and earlier as a Joint Secretary Sports 2007 to 2011, he is credited with having revitalized the National Sports Development Fund, developed the National Sports Development Code, conducted South Asian Games 2016, and formulation Khelo India scheme. Later, the Union Secretary to Government of in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs 2017 to 2020, he played a key role in the implementation of several major economic reforms, including the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which has deeply impacted the borrowing culture in the country and helped banks effectively tackle the problems of non-performing assets. He is also credited with the implementations of several initiatives aimed at enhancing the ease of doing business, including MCA 21, that is a version 3, and decriminalization of various offenses under the Companies Act. He was also responsible for major initiatives on corporate governance front, including strengthening the institution of independent directors. He chaired several committees constituted by Government of India, the prominent ones including the Insolvency Law Committee, Competition Law Review Committee, Committee on Discrimination of Companies Act, and High-Level Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility. He is currently a member of Financial Stability and Development Council, FSDC, and subcommittee under it. His area of specialization includes, among others, corporate law, industrial policy, foreign direct investment, development financing, and MSME development. He assumed the responsibility of the first chairperson of the newly established International Financial Service Center Authority, a unified financial regulator for international financial centers in India in July 2020. Not taking much of our time, I'll put on to Sri Injeti Srinivasan to hear more about the GIFT City and what are the advantages of it. Thank you, sir. Thank you coming on the board. Thank you for us.
Thank you very much. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to interact with so many esteemed dignitaries from JITO. I understand this is a very large international networking and has a large presence of businessmen, industrialists, knowledge workers, and professionals belonging to the Jain community. When we, in fact, speak about Indian diaspora, the diaspora from Gujarat occupies a very prominent position. And within that diaspora from Gujarat, I think the Jain community, they have been the most enterprising, and in a way, business is in their blood, because I am also lucky to have Dipesh Shah, as Executive Director, Business Development. And I always tell him that the type of innovativeness, the type of enterprising quality they possess, it should become a big boon for giving impetus to the GIFT IFSC also. While we have a detailed presentation for you, which will take you through the nuts and bolts of this entire concept of an international financial services center and what benefits it offers, what opportunities it offers to all of us. On a lighter vein, I find two very interesting words, acronyms, but they also in English and in Hindi, they carry some meaning. JITO means victory, Jitna, and gift means upahar. So I think this gift for India can be won by, JITO. Okay, so I mean, you people can play a very important role in sort of realizing this dream of becoming a global hub, not only serving India's own requirements, but also serving the rest of the world. So now coming to this entire concept of an international financial services center, I would like to take you back to the early days of economic liberalization, where we started opening up as an economy, and we opened up to foreign direct investment, to foreign trade, etc. We dismantled controls, and as we started globalizing, we required to procure a lot of international financial services. And because we were having capital account controls and restrictions, most of these services we were procuring from offshore jurisdictions. So we were in a way instrumental in giving a boost to Singapore as an international financial center. We were instrumental in giving a boost to Dubai, as an international financial center. So the large economy of India has been procuring a lot of services from these hubs. Now, way back in 2007, the government appointed a high-level expert committee, popularly known as the Percy Mistry Committee, to see how India can actually become more self-reliant. We are talking today of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So on those lines, how we can become more self-reliant. Now, in the trade side, we already had the special economic zone concept. So that concept came up. And we had the Special Economic Zone Act in 2005. So these special economic zones basically was mainly for manufacturing and to some extent services, so that we can export goods and services. But this did not address the issue of international financial services. So as against close to 400 SEZs in the country, out of which about 250 odd SEZs are fully operational, we have only one maiden international financial services in India. So, and this international financial services center is embedded in the GIFT SEZ. So it gets the benefit of both the laws. Firstly, we must understand that while IFSC was notified in 2015, a separate legislative framework came into force only in December 2019. And the unified regulator was set up only in April 2020. And the powers of the existing domestic regulators, that is the Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, IRDA, and PFRDA, were vested in the IFSCA with effect from 1st October 2020. So as an institution, it is just about a little over 1 year old. Now, when the Percy Mistry Committee looked at this entire financial sector, they noted that we had, even then in 2007, a very well-developed financial sector, banking, insurance, fund management, etc., and a good regulatory system. So it was felt that why can't we leverage this to create, offshore-like center onshore? And the Percy Mistry Committee made 3 broad recommendations. One, they said that India should move towards full capital account convertibility at the earliest. So it was first recommendation across the country. Second recommendation was that we cannot separate, the financial sector into different segments like insurance and banking, etc. We should have one unified regulator and seamless connection between all the segments of the financial sector. So the second recommendation was that we should have a unified regulator. And the third recommendation was that there should be a lot of ease of doing business. That means so many complicated processes, time consuming, and sometimes, not very cost effective. if we have to compete globally, we'll have to address this also. Now, it is at that point in time in 2007 that you all remember that in early 2008, we had the global financial crisis. And then all this went onto the back burner because with global financial crisis, there was no questioning of further opening up the financial sector to global competition. So this went to the cold storage, and it is much later that 7 years down the line in 2014 that this entire concept was revived, and it was decided that instead of doing full capital account convertibility across the economy, we can do it in an enclave, and gift IFSC concept was formulated that yes, in this zone we can have full capital account convertibility, and we can give it the status of a non-resident zone. So the most important distinguishing feature of this zone is in whole of India, you have two financial jurisdictions. One is the entire domestic financial jurisdiction, and one is the host jurisdiction of IFSCA. So we must realize how important it is. In this country, there are two financial jurisdictions. In the domestic jurisdiction, you have 4 financial regulators, and in the international jurisdiction within India, you have one unified, regulator. So, by creating this sort of unique jurisdiction, we could implement all that pessimistic committee recommendations of full capital account convertibility, because in the gift zone, you can't, do business with INR. You have to do business, in a freely convertible foreign currency. So that is one thing. So when you have a freely convertible foreign currency, that means, let us say, in our stock exchanges, when stocks are denominated in dollar or denominated in euro, then you don't have the exchange risk, and there is full transmission. I mean, you can have a stock which is listed in the gift IFSC, and the same stock can be listed in London, the same stock can be listed in Singapore, and you can buy here, you can sell there, or buy there and sell here. So there is complete, fungibility. Now, this advantage, you cannot have it in the domestic exchange. There it is rupee denominated, and our security cannot move from the depository in India to a depository outside India. So this is one thing we have to understand. Now, this has not caught the imagination of everybody yet, because our exchanges are still not having adequate listing. I'll come to that in due course. So this is one main sort of purpose behind it. Second is, you see, if you look at China, the Chinese diaspora has played a very important role in propelling the growth of China. Now we have such a strong, diaspora with so much of network. There are so many influential people. We need to really harness that benefit, and the gift IFSC platform, gives a lot of advantage, for this diaspora to actually contribute. For example, today, let us say there's an estimate that about 3 trillion worth of net worth is there with the Indian diaspora. Now, 3 trillion is a lot of money. Now, where are they investing this money? When there are so much investment opportunities within India, if we are able to intermediate that, if we are able to create a proper ecosystem with which they are familiar, they may want to, deploy their, savings into investment opportunities in gift or within the domestic area also. All those things can be done. The advantage is that is how this is a sustainable sort of project. Is one, we are a very large economy, among the top 6 economies in terms of the size of GDP, and we are among the fastest growing economy. And we also have this very strong network of Indian diaspora. So I think all these advantages can be very much leveraged to make a GIFT IFSC a thriving international financial center. Uh, if you look at the legal framework, because anything, for it to be sustainable, it should have very strong legal framework. Even foreign investors and all, when they look at a international financial center, they want to be certain that there is 100% certainty, there is consistency, and it is reliable. So we have a very strong legal foundation. That means the IFSCA Act enumerates 15 central acts, right from the SEBI Act to the RBI Act to the Foreign Exchange Management Act to the Securities, Contracts Regulation Act. All these acts, are in the schedule in the IFSCA, and the powers exercised by the 4 domestic regulators under these 15 or 16 acts are now vested in the IFSC A for financial institutions, financial services, and financial products within the IFSC. Now, let us look at what does this mean in terms of business. So you can conveniently break it down into 4 broad sectors. One is the banking sector, one is the insurance sector, then you have the capital market, and you will have the funds management. So in the business, in the banking sector today, we have 6 foreign banks also have set up their branches here. They are functioning from here. And at least another 6 are in the pipeline. Some of the banks which have already set up their business in the GIFT IFSC include banks like Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC, Barclays Bank, Citibank, Deutsche Bank. So you have a large number of foreign banks which are looking at huge opportunities here. Now, what are these opportunities? I'll give you 2 opportunities which are there. One is, when we are growing as economy, we require to borrow a lot of capital also. All capital which Indian industry requires may not be available domestically. You want to borrow capital. Also, a lot of Indian, companies are becoming MNCs. They are now trying to, increase their footprint across the globe. Many are becoming global companies. Now, if they want to set up business abroad, they need to borrow. So a lot of demand for capital is coming from the Indian corporate. Earlier, they were borrowing from these banks in London or in Hong Kong or in Singapore. Now, these external commercial borrowings can be done from the GIFT IFSC itself. Second, there is also another advantage that you can borrow externally in a rupee denominated form. So you can have an external commercial borrowing which is rupee denominated, which means as far as you are concerned, you will not have any exchange risk. The exchange risk will be on the lender. Now, they may suitably factor that additional cost of hedging, etc., when they're pricing your loan. Now, if we look at it from a more specific sort of angle, today, while large companies can access cheap capital from anywhere in the world, if let us say these big top 20, 30 companies of India, they can get at the best rate from anywhere in the world. But what about the SME, the small and medium enterprises in India? You see, SMEs worldwide, you look at a country like Germany, they are the powerhouse of Germany. Even in India, the SMEs are our powerhouse. Actually speaking, if you want to create employment, it is SMEs which will create employment. Large industries cannot really create, large employment. Large employment will have to come from small, medium, and even micro industries. Now, when small industries want to access capital, say the ticket size is, let us say, they want a few crores of external loan. No bank looks at them. Now we have sort of created lines of credit that there can be some specialized instruments which are dedicated to the small industry. So whether it is the ECB or whether it is the trade finance, they should be able to easily access, this window. And one of the initiatives we did is an international trade finance platform we have set up recently in the IFSC. And four major entities have already taken the license, and they have put their entire process in the sandbox. Sandbox is basically nothing but a regulatory sandbox. Is basically we have our own regulatory framework, but for some innovative idea, you may need some of the requirements to be diluted, some of the regulatory requirements to be diluted to test some new technology or something. So this ITFS is something I feel it will become a huge marketplace for Indian SMEs to get financing, external financing, dollar financing for their import-export activities. This is one example I have given to you. Second example, you see a lot of interest is there in Indian securities market. You know that foreign portfolio investors and all, they're coming and investing large amounts in the Indian market. But when foreign investors come, when you want to invest in India, then there are a lot of requirements in terms of getting a PAN card, in terms of filing return. So many other requirements are there. So you have seen that in many cases, investors who are interested in the Indian market, but they don't want to go through all this trouble of having a PAN card and this and that. There is a new instrument which has been developed, which is called the participatory notes, P notes. And these P notes are nothing but these banks, invest in all these securities, etc., and they in turn issue P notes to investors. Now that activity has been largely concentrated offshore. Now this activity can also come onshore. So this is one example I gave. If you look at the insurance sector, much of the reinsurance which is happening today is happening outside. Now we have come up with our own insurance regulations where it is a very attractive sort of regulatory framework. So a lot of insurance companies want to set up their branches in the GIFT IFSC so that the reinsurance business which is going out of India can be captured in the GIFT IFSC. When you're in the GIFT IFSC, whatever premium you're getting, you need not invest all that premium in India because you are a foreign entity. So you get a global canvas for your investment. So you have a better geographical spread. You can manage your risk better. So this is another example that, then for the Indian diaspora, even retail products, insurance products, because they have a India Connect, a lot of specialized, products can be made for them. Areas, special areas like protection and indemnity insurance, P&I insurance for ship business, etc. This also, can be captured in the GIFT IFSC. In terms of fund, today you will find that increasingly funds have become the main medium for movement of global capital. It is estimated that globally, the funds manage about 100 trillion USD, globally. In India, of course, it's even the domestic area, it may be about 60 billion or something, not very high. But we are promoting the entire fund ecosystem in the IFSC with specialized funds also. For example, today, there is a lot of distressed loans, and RBI also is trying to liberalize things so that apart from IBC, you can resolve, the sticky loans through other arrangements. And one of the other arrangements can be that a fund can purchase the bad loan. You see, you had one system of the asset reconstruction company purchasing the loan and then issuing security receipts. Now, directly, RBI has brought out a new master directive where directly the fund can purchase the stressed assets, stressed loans. So that is another, thing which we are facilitating, that funds can set up, they can purchase the stressed loans. You can have funds which are dedicated to the disinvestment of the government, whatever disinvestment government is doing. So it will be specialized only in capturing the disinvestment opportunities. So that sort of funds can be there. So when India is liberalizing, how global capital can be tapped by getting that expertise, and that is gradually taking roots here. And one major area is climate change, climate finance, green finance. It is estimated that in years to come, it will be very difficult for non-green projects to be able to get capital. And it is a fact. Though green itself is a very sort of nebulous area, because a lot of people may brand it as a green bond, but how green that bond is, what is the end utilization of that money, all those issues are there. For that, you need a very strong ecosystem. So we are trying to, and in the budget also, the finance minister announced that we will make the GIFT IFSC, the hub for green finance and climate finance. So this is one area where by 2030, if you really need to, if you really have to meet the commitments towards, carbon emissions, etc., we have a target of zero emission by 2070. You will need $4 to $5 trillion. Now, all that, if it has to come, there has to be different, systems which can actually intermediate. It is in all these areas that the GIFT IFSC can play a very important role. And post establishment of the IFSC, in the last 1 year or so, we have been able to put in place a very competitive regulatory architecture. You can compare our regulatory architecture with the best of jurisdictions. Earlier, what was applicable here was basically the domestic regulations with some change here or some change there. Today, we are having absolutely internationally aligned architecture. I'll give you an example in funds. In funds, in domestic area, every fund is registered. But now the new regulation which we are bringing out, we have already moved our paper for public consultation. We will register the fund management entity. And therefore, once they are registered, individual funds need not be registered. Okay, so it brings in a lot of ease of doing business, and there are so many other areas where we are trying to see that we will map all the processes and bring in technology to see that you have the best sort of system to be able to set up business in the shortest possible time and comparable to Dubai and Singapore, etc. We also have a competitive tax regime that's also there, and successive budgets, a lot of incentives have been given. I think Dipesh and all they will give you the details. And I'll sum up by saying that some of the very niche areas. Okay, now one area I think in broking also, brokers. We have now opened up the whole thing that they'll have global access. So a lot of Indian people are in Dubai doing, broking business. Now they can do it here. We have also talked to Reserve Bank of India that the entire LRS, liberalized remittance regime today, about 20 billion every year goes out of India under the LRS. But where does this money go? All this money goes to London, it goes to Dubai, it goes to Singapore. Nothing is retained here. So now RBI also has agreed in principle that we will have a framework which is at par with other jurisdictions, so that money, instead of going to Dubai or London, that money can come here. You can open your foreign bank account here. You can have your wealth advisors here. You can have better control over your money. The wealth advisors will be here. All those specializations will be here. Even if your son or daughter is studying abroad, you can have your account here. Even for renting apartments, all those services can be set up here, and your money can be better handled from here. So it can actually emerge as a landing point for entire, liberalized LRS money going out of India. We have also opened up the aircraft leasing, especially operating lease mechanism, and already a lot of people have shown interest. This is one area where we are fastest growing in the world. We have an order book of more than 1,000 aircrafts. A lot of potential is there. Today, entire business is being done in Ireland, partly in China. That entire business can come here. So in terms of whatever has to be done, almost 90% has been done. Some 5-10% things are left. We are getting feedback. We are addressing those issues. I'm very confident that coming within a year, even large wide-bodied aircrafts will be, leased out of GIFT IFSC. And once GIFT IFSC becomes a leasing hub, then the maintenance and repair operations also will be very much within the country, because if the lessor is in the country, he would like the aeroplane also to be maintained in an MRO which is located in India. So this is another area. Ship leasing also we are opening up. This bullion exchange which has been set up. See, 25% of the gold consumption happens in India. One very interesting thing is happening now because of the climate change issues. People don't want to promote any industry which is having carbon emissions. Gold mining is becoming an area where people don't want to, modern developed countries don't want to buy gold which is newly mined, because they feel it is polluting the environment. So they want recycled gold. Now India has got 30,000 tons of above gold stock. We don't manufacture gold anymore. We don't produce gold. We don't have gold mines as such now. So Indian gold, we are the largest importer, but tomorrow we can become a major exporter also. Once, because all the gold is getting stuck as a dead asset. So once there is financialization of gold, this gold can also reinvigorate the economy. So a lot of opportunities in that. And lastly, I would conclude by saying that even the recent announcement by the FM, to have an international arbitration center here. So whenever there is business, there will be disputes, and businessmen would like that disputes, can be settled quickly, this way or that way. So we are now we have been told to set up an international commercial arbitration with international jurisprudence. That means today, when two Indians enter into a contract and they want to have arbitration, mostly in large contracts, they select London or Singapore as the seat of arbitration, and they select UK, law as the governing law. So our fellows are also going and having contesting there. All the money towards the fees, etc., to the arbitrator, etc., is going out. Why not have that same facility? Indians have proved to be the best professionals in the world. Why not have the same facility within the GIFT IFSC? And these can be treated as international arbitration. And we can not only do our own, dispute settlement, but also disputes arising between third parties. They can also come and settle. And lastly, this foreign universities also, this has been opened up, and for the first time, this sector I have been seeing right from 1998 when I was director FIPB. A lot of demand even then was there, because next to China, Indian students are the largest overseas students. When you go to UK or to Australia or to US, we are sending the maximum students abroad. So they know there is so much demand for international education in India. Now the idea is for specialized type of education stream which is more focused on finance. These universities can set up an offshore campus in GIFT IFSC, completely free from domestic regulations. And they will have to comply with whatever their university regulator, like we have UGC, they will have some regulator. They'll have to follow those regulations. We will not regulate fee. We will not say it has to be not for profit. We will not say that you should have reservations. So today, if a foreign university wants to come to India, these become the obstacles. They say, this is the way you'll recruit faculty. You will have to reserve this much, seats for reserved class. You can't give more than this pay. You can't charge more than this fees. All these things get dismantled, and whatever market determined sort of decision making takes place here. So I'll conclude by saying that there are limitless opportunities. right from doing some ancillary sort of services, right from every company, large company in India which is internationalized can do their family office from here. They can do their treasury operations from here. Uh, you can set up global in-house centers here. So since this JITO community has so many professionals, businessmen, and people engaged in knowledge delivery, I think you will have enormous opportunities to come here, maybe relocate also. Many people can think of really relocating here. There's absolutely no issues. And I'm very confident that the physical infrastructure will grow. It's already one of the most modern city, modern, greenfield city. Um, and I think with the new developments, that means even housing, etc., coming up within the SEZ, you'll have a unparalleled and unique work environment here. Walk to work, etc. It can become a zero carbon emission city. All these things can be there. So I think it's now time that we as Indians and organizations like JITO, which have a widespread network both within the country and outside the country, you should look at opportunities you have, which you can harness. After all, every Indian, however successful or well settled they may be abroad, there is always an emotional sort of connect with India, and they continue to miss that part of their emotional quotient. So I would say that we will be most happy to do hand holding, and you can look at opportunities. And once you have the detailed presentation, I think you will get better focus. I tried to just paint a broad picture, not try to go into all nitty gritty. I'm happy that I got this opportunity to interact with so many of you, and we can keep this as an ongoing dialogue, because now you just get some awareness. Thereafter, you will develop some interest. Thereafter, you will start exploring. Thereafter, you will start assessing the viability, and thereafter you will start taking your business decisions and then operating. So there will be many stages. So I hope systematically we can go from stage to stage and see that there is more and more participation of professionals and business entities in the GIFT IFSC. Thank you.
Many thanks for making us understand the GIFT IFSC and what kind of regulatory and other frameworks are available over there. What kind of business opportunities on offshore, onshore fund, insurance, retail products, climate change. I think LRS, which is the largest aircraft business, bullion exchange, international, so many things, foreign university. I think you covered the entire things. I think this group has completely enlightened with the what you have thrown to us. And this is going to be a big time for all individuals and for the business people who wanted to be part of a gift city. I'm sure this, what you said to us, or what you make us understanding is great. What you said is correctly, JITO gift, our associated word, and we'll certainly work on it. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us a time from your busy schedule, and you've taken us so much of time and make us understand. Thank you once again for coming over here and making us understanding the same.
Thank you
Very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll put it over to the next speaker from a gift who been with us and going to give us a run through us a presentation. Mr. Sandip Shah, who's the head of IFSC department at the Gujarat International Finance Tech City, and Mr. Dipesh Shah, who's executive director development International Financial Service Center Authority. Over to Sandip Bhai and Dipesh Bhai for next presentation from your side, sir.
Thank you, Nitishji, and thank you, JITO members, for your interest today in the IFFC presentation. I think Chairman IFFC Authority has given an great overview with a lot of explanation on how the business in the IFFC is done. I'll come straight to some of the business opportunities so that I'm sure we are in front of the professionals and the business entrepreneurs who always means dhando ketlo thayo. And in Gujarat, where you are in GIFT City, everybody asks about what is the business that has been done from the IFFC in GIFT City and how the GIFT City is helping all the community. So let me straight away come to the business. The picture which you see on which you saw on the screen is actually the GIFT City picture, which is a live city, operational city. And as Nitesh said, we would love to host all of you in this smart city in the coming days from now. Please go ahead. As you are aware, GIFT has two segments. One is the domestic zone and other is the SEZ international zone. So there are a lot of confusion at times. What is a GIFT City? GIFT City, sometimes people say GIFT City means वहाँ से हमको पैसा मिलेंगे. GIFT City means somebody says that is it a Gujarat International Fashion Technology City? And sometimes they say GIFT City is something which which we have also not heard. So GIFT City is basically Gujarat International Finance Tech City. The short form came from the Honorable Chief Minister, who is now the Prime Minister. He said that I will call this as a GIFT City. And we were told to develop a full form. So we were stuck at Gujarat International Finance and we got stuck at T. And he very rightly pointed out way back in 2007 that we should, in future, finance and technology will go hand in hand. This is in 2007. The name GIFT City was tossed up, which is a finance tech city, which we all know in 2022, everybody is talking of fintechs across India and across the globe. So this was a very visionary project at that time where people thought that this was ahead of time. Atyare aa project ni su jarur chai. That were type of the questions that we had to answer in 2007-8. To 2022, if we fast forward, where people are saying our project वर्षों पहला जरूरत हो इंडिया ने. So that means people are now appreciating the role that the GIFT City is playing in everybody's life. There are two zones, as I said, domestic and international. Today we are talking on the GIFT City as an international center, how it is contributing to the Indian economy and to the global economy. IFFC Authority Chairman has already mentioned we are now a unified regulator combining all the powers of RBI, SEBI, IRD and PFRD into one authority, which means you don't have to go to any authority when you come to GIFT City. You are working only with one unified single regulator, which really takes care of all the issues for a financial services and IT financial services segments. Please go ahead. Our chairman already highlighted this. It really provides a great access to the large growing hinterland economy. I think one point we all must understand that, it is on a lighter side, a lot of people tell us that two cities that India has really built is outside India, and that is Singapore and Dubai. If you really take away India business from these two cities, you will suddenly find that the business is only growing because of India. And that is why it was felt that when our business and jobs are all going outside, why can't we create an offshore center within India, which will retain business and jobs both in India? So if you really ask us in one line what GIFT City is doing, GIFT City is onshoring the offshore business in India, which was going to Singapore, Dubai and other financial centers only because of lack of regulation and the tax issues. Please go ahead. The IFFC in GIFT City provides business opportunities to all the segments which you see on your screen right now. Whether you are in banking, whether you are in insurance, whether you are in capital market, whether you are in asset management, alternate investment funds, wealth management, whether you are in finance, a non-banking finance company, whether you are international trade platform, whether you are a fintech company, whether you are international or dealing with the bullion or the jewelry or aircraft leasing, and even I think the most importantly, services opportunities for professionals. The chartered accountant, company secretaries, and all have a great opportunity in IFFC. I'll just cover a few slides as to what are those opportunities. We have the regulations issued for all separate verticals. So you have a regulatory regime. I'm not going into this, but this is available on our website. But to tell everyone on this webinar that there are business regulations available for various opportunities in the IFFC. I think this is the most important slide. You will see how many people, what business is happening. And this is what we've been always asked. કેટલો બિઝનેસ થયો GIFT City માંથી. GIFT City from a banking side is already done $142 billion of banking transactions. So whether it is ECB or trade finance or financing the companies outside India or financing taking over of companies outside India, GIFT City has already provided $142 billion of business transactions from IFSC. $24.7 billion of total banking asset size is already present in GIFT City, which is only in last 14 months, if you say, it has grown from 14 billion to 24 billion. The cumulative derivative transaction, which is NDF, the rupee dollar transactions, that has touched $173 billion from GIFT City in just 18 months. And total $4.6 billion of alternate investment funds have already come and been set up in the GIFT City out of close to 50 funds which have been brought in the GIFT City. We already have more than 4,500 people working in GIFT City, and the number of entities have grown to 270 now. In just last 14 months, we have given license to 140 companies in last 14 months. The tax regime, I think this is the most important slide. Whichever the entity is recognized as an IFSC unit by the IFSC authority has a complete 10-year tax holiday out of 15. 10-year, there is no tax. You can choose any 10-year, 100% profit exemption, tax exemption on your profits. Minimum alternate tax has been brought down to 9%, but even this does not apply when you choose a new tax regime. So even 9% MAT also does not apply, and various other tax benefits which you see on the slide. In terms of banking, we already have all the banks present. So I'm not taking much of all the foreign and Indian banks are present in the IFSC in GIFT City. In terms of capital market, this is very important. As an individual, you always do buy and sell on the NSE and BSE in India. Now you have an opportunity as an individual. You can buy US stock in GIFT City. And how this has been done? The NSE IFSC International Exchange is going to start very shortly, in few days from now. You will be able to buy US stock, 50 top US stock on the NSE IFSC International Exchange in GIFT City, which means Apple, Google, Netflix, and all you will be able to buy under the LRS, $250,000. This stock on the IFSC exchange, and this trade will be guaranteed by the NSE IFSC Clearing Corporation also. So it's a guaranteed trade on the international exchange in GIFT City. The NSE SGX Nifty will be brought back to India, and it will stop trading in the Singapore Stock Exchange. It will start trading in the NSE IFSC exchange, and the entire 4.5 billion of daily open interest will be transferred to GIFT City. From 1st April 2022, you will see certain trades start coming, and then in 3 months, the entire SGX Nifty will start coming to GIFT City. Even India INX, the wholly owned subsidiary of the BSE, they have allowed that sitting in GIFT, you can trade in any market globally. So even you can trade global markets without any restrictions when you are in GIFT City. In terms of funds, there were questions in the chat box that a lot of funds, alternate investment funds have set up. We have 20 funds with $4.6 billion of commitment. We have 25 fund managers. We have 6 portfolio management services. We have 5 to 6 investment advisory firms, and all the big names which you see on the screen are already licensed by the IFSC authority. In terms of aircraft leasing, I think you will be most happy to hear as a community that this business was entirely done from Dublin in Ireland. And just in a period of February 2021, we issued the framework. And in July 2021, the first aircraft was leased from GIFT City to India through the IFSC zone. And this entire business was sitting overseas. We have now 13 aircraft leasing licenses issued by the IFSC authority. And even the big corporates are setting up their aircraft leasing arm in GIFT City. This is a great opportunity coming to all of you. You should explore the business related to this for your professional services. We are starting the International Bullion Exchange. 5 names which you see on the screen, they've all been the joint promoter of this. And this is also in few days from now, you will see the International Bullion Exchange starting in the IFSC GIFT City. First time, the spot exchange will be operating from the GIFT City. We have a fintech hub in GIFT City, and all the fintech companies which want to experiment in banking, insurance, capital market, or other services. Because we are a unified regulator, you can come and operate and register your fintech companies in GIFT City. We offer a lot of incentives to these companies also when they come and operate from GIFT City. This is most important. I saw on the chat box, what are the opportunities for CA firm and the CAS company secretary firms? I was told that your chartered accountant, who is also there in this, has recently taken a professional services related office space in the GIFT City. I am very happy to announce that we have now come out with a professional ancillary framework, which is available on our website. All the chartered accountants, company secretaries, and professionals can register their firm in the IFFC. They can provide services to the IFFC entities. They can provide services to the foreign entities sitting in GIFT City. They can provide Indian companies who wants to set up in an IFFC services, and for which, once you are licensed by the IFFC authority, you are also eligible for the tax exemptions which are available for the IFFC entities. So this will be very interesting vertical which all of you should explore as a chartered accountant and professional service providers in the GIFT City. All these firms which you see on your screen have already been onboarded in the IFFC in GIFT City. I think recent budget announcement, you saw 3 big announcements, and I'm from Gujarat. I am from
I think the screen has frozen, is it?
I think, Sandip bhai, there is some internet connectivity problem from Dipesh bhai.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
can you please take up
Sure,
ahead?
sure. I'll just continue from where Depesh stopped, and then we'll again get him back basically when he starts. So he was mentioning about the 3 major announcements which happened in the recent union budget, and one of the major was about the foreign university. These will actually change the way the academics are right now operating, and the announcement says that it will be away from the domestic regulations. So I think the IFSC will come out with the light touch regulations which will allow foreign universities to operate from the GIFT City zone. I think probably there was the last slide of Mr. Dipesh. Quickly, I'll cover the GIFT City perspective, because many of the members are also from outside Gujarat, and they must be wondering where is GIFT City, what kind of infrastructure it provides, and what are the kind of opportunities for the investment. So many of the members may not be from the financial services perspective, but there are some opportunities for non-financial services companies as well, whether even if you are into manufacturing sector or into the other non-financial segments. I'll just cover quickly, those aspects as well. So as rightly mentioned by this Mr. Dipesh, that it's a greenfield smart city, and idea is not to create only a kind of a commercial district, but it's an integrated city development, which means apart from the commercial development, it will also have the residential and the social facilities. That's how we are creating this, integrated smart city. It's located near Ahmedabad, the international and domestic airport, and it's only 20 minutes drive from the Ahmedabad airport. It's located much closer to the Gandhinagar, which is the state capital. However, it's only 25 minutes drive from the Ahmedabad. This is the master plan of the city. Just to give you a perspective, that GIFT City is divided into 2 parts. So the red boundary which you see, that is the special economic zone notified as International Financial Services Center, and the remaining part of the city is domestic zone, which means it is as good as having business in any other location in the country. However, there are certain state government incentives as well to even set up your operations in the domestic side of this. As I was mentioning, we have created very unique infrastructure, and many of these infrastructure facilities have been created first time in the country. Like we have a water treatment plant at the city level, which means you can drink water at the tape level, from any of commercial or residential buildings. There is a centralized cooling plant at the city level, which means the chilled water is supplied to the building level, converted into the air. One of the very unique infrastructure is the left bottom side, which you see the underground utility tunnel, which means there is a underground tunnel 7 by 7 meter, which carries all the pipeline cable connection. It means you don't need to dig land for any maintenance activity. Even a vehicle can go inside and do the maintenance activity. That's how the facilities have been developed. And there is also an waste collection and segregation plant within the city, which takes care of the entire waste collection process. Some of the commercial and the residential developments which have come up. So these are commercial buildings within the domestic zone of GIFT City. The first two towers which came up are GIFT 1 and GIFT 2, and these are the tallest tower today in Gujarat, basically ground plus 28 floor. These are the three commercial buildings in the international zone for we were discussing about various businesses. So all these exchanges and the financial services entities are operating from commercial buildings, and many more such commercial developments are coming up. The school, I think many of you are also from Mumbai. So the school from Mumbai, Jamnabai Nasi, is also fully functional in GIFT City with more than 1,500 kids already enrolled. It's from nursery to 12th standard. And there is a 5-star hotel, state-of-the-art club, fully functional right now. Some of the prominent names present today in GIFT City, from the various business segments, and some of the major one like Bank of America, they have set up large global in-house center with more than 2,000 people already hired, and some of the TCS, Bank of Baroda, also operating, with a large number of employment. If we talk about, I request our members to keep on mute. So some of the other business opportunities, in the domestic side of the GIFT City include. So even if you are not a financial services company, basically the back office operations of the ITS company in the domestic side of the GIFT City. Even a non-financial services companies can set up corporate office or headquarters in the domestic side of the GIFT City. So the only thing, the manufacturing facility activities are not permitted in the GIFT City, but any kind of services or back office operations can be carried out from GIFT. Another important point to note here is the government of Gujarat has provided stamp duty exemptions, which means if you set up your stockbroking entity in the domestic side of GIFT City, the register office, the government of Gujarat reimburses 100% stamp duty to the stockbrokers for the trades that they have been carried out by the proprietary traders, and even for the clients of the Gujarat. So I think for this, many of the large stockbroking firms like Tower Research Capital, which is a US-based stockbroking firm, Jump Trading, and ST Capital, many of them have set up their registered and operating office in the domestic side of the GIFT City. From the real estate perspective, for the real estate developers can actually look at developing the commercial and the residential and social facilities in the GIFT City. As I mentioned, as a GIFT City, we provide the state-of-the-art infrastructure and we provide FSI to the developers, so that and based on the FSI, they can create the required commercial and or the residential facilities. While many of the non-business community may look at investing in the GIFT City, so there are, as an individual, you may like to invest in some of the commercial facilities which are coming up in the domestic side of the GIFT City, or you may also look at investing in the residential facilities as well when you consider investment in GIFT City. This is important. I think it's only a 2 days back, government of Gujarat came out with a incentive policy. It's a ITS incentive policy. So if you are into a IT or ITIS operation, or even into a financial technology operations, government of Gujarat has come out with a very attractive incentive policy, and which provides incentives up to 50 crore rupees, for setting up your capex. It provides operating expense reimbursement up to 20 crores. There are incentives for the employees as well. So, and then it's a very important that the provident fund of the employees contribution, for 75% for the male employees and 100% for the female employees, is reimbursed by government of Gujarat for 5 years. So I think these are some of the incentives which will help companies to reduce their operating costs when you set up your back office operations. And there are other incentives like lease rental subsidy, electricity duty subsidy, and so and so. Overall, from a GIFT City perspective, apart from the regulation, the tax incentives provided for various businesses, the ease of operation which GIFT City provides, from the business perspective, from the setting of operation perspective, and the standard of living that Gujarat and again GIFT City provides will actually help many companies to grow their business from here. So I think with this, I'll end my presentation, and I would be happy to provide answer to some of the questions that we have received in the chat box. Over to you, Niteshji. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipesh, for a wonderful presentation. I think you made it most of the things clear what we needed actually on a GIFT City, and what are the advantages and what are the benefits one can avail from that with the whatever support from a GIFT City. Over to Amish Bhai for question answers, and even I would like to invite Puneet ji if he is there. Puneet ji, you've been with a number of questions. If you can have some questions which be beneficial for the group as a whole.
Sure, Jai Jinendra, I'm around.
Yeah, Puneet ji, you and Amish ji, please take over the question answers session. Thank you very much.
So should I start, Amit, or Amish, or you want to start?
I've got a couple of questions already. So, so let me ask 4 or 5 questions, and maybe then you also ask whatever are left. So, Sandip Bhai and Dipesh Bhai, thank you very much. And one of the questions that we have already received is, what is the difference between GIFT SEZ and GIFT IFSC? Can you please explain it? Because that is very basic question, and so many professionals are even having that confusion amongst it.
I think it's very, very important question. GIFT in IFFC is part of GIFT SEZ. So SEZ Act provides for setting up of International Financial Services Center. So if you really see a circle, the big circle is GIFT SEZ. Within that circle, International Financial Services Center is an IFFC declared separately. Now, difference between the two is in the SEZ is a multi-service SEZ. So anyone who is in any services can come in a multi-service SEZ of GIFT. Whereas in the IFFC, only the financial services and the related allied ancillary services, those units can come, and those can avail Section 80 LA benefits, which is the separate income tax benefit available for finance and IFFC units. And those under the SEZ, they were earlier given Section 10 AA benefits, which are now no longer available from 1st April 2020 in the SEZ units.
Oh, okay. So there are 2 income tax benefits, I suppose, Section 10 AA and Section 1880 LA, right? So, and one more question that we have received is, which type of services by IT and ITES are permitted in IFSC or in GIFT SEZ? So there are so many IT companies who are developing softwares for all the multinational companies of abroad, Europe, America, and all that. So they are working 2 or 3 type of services. Rather, they are developing software. So it is a software development. Another is software as a service, SaaS. And third, they are just body shaping, like they are providing resources to the all the European and American companies, because it is more cost effective. So can you please throw light that what kind of activities are allowed? Because IT and ITS sector is reasonably good in Gujarat. So what are the available in GIFT SEZ and IFSC, please?
I think Sandip already covered in his slide that the IT, ITES companies, they are part of the SEZ and domestic GIFT City both. They can be in both the zone. The IFFC units are separate, which is the overview slide which you saw, that banks, insurance companies, capital market, they are all part of the IFFC, which has related some business related to financial services. They will be part of IFFC. But those who are exporting software, or you said providing BPO, KPO services, they are all part of they can be part of the GIFT SEZ also, where they continue to get the GST exemption. And they can provide services to the outside India. And there are others, like say Global In-House Center, like Bank of America has more than 2,400 people in Gift City in the IFFC zone, which is only providing services to their parent or to their group entities outside India. They can qualify under the Global In-House Center regime of the IFFC.
One more question is, what is the lock-in period for operating a unit in IFSC? Can you please let us know?
There is no locking period, but the SEZ Act provides that when you enter into an SEZ, normally the SEZ units are required to undertake 5 years of lease from a developer. So, but that can also be, if the business has to be, for some reason has to be changed and they want to exit, they can exit with surrendering certain benefits and all. So there is no lock-in for any unit.
Whether jewelers can import gold directly in SEZ or IFSC?
The International Bullion Exchange, which has been set up by the IFFC in Gift City, there we have come out with a concept called qualified jewelers. Our circular is already out. So the jewelers can, through the International Bullion Exchange, they can import the gold through an exchange, and after duty payment, they can take it in the domestic India zone also. They can also become a trading member, a remote trading member. So sitting in Ahmedabad, you can be a remote trading member on the IFFC International Bullion Exchange. And you can also be a client to a broker in the IFFC.
What are the banking services that Indian corporates can avail from Gift IFSC? Any points on that?
Yeah, so foreign currency term loan, you want to avail external commercial borrowing, both in dollar and in rupees. If someone wants ECB in rupees, that also the Indian corporates can take from the IFFC banking units. Trade finance is a very important product which is available on the IFFC banking units. So trade finance you can take from IFFC banking units. When you have your wholly owned subsidiary or joint venture outside India, the entire financing of those projects can be done through the IFFC banking units. And if you are acquiring any assets outside India, even acquisition financing can also be done from the IFFC banking units. And hedging also of rupees and dollar can be done on the IFFC banking units.
One more question that we have received is it possible to trade global stocks through Gift IFSC? Is it possible?
Yes, I did explain that there are two opportunities. One is through the NSE IFFC International Exchange. You can, as a individual resident in India and the LRS, you can open your broking account with a broker in the Gift City, in the Gift IFFC. And you can buy Amazon, Apple, Google stock through this IFFC exchange platform. Two, you can also become yourself a prop trader in the IFFC, and you can trade any global market sitting in Gift City also as a broker.
The last question, but I don't want you to answer that. It is only a question whether crypto business is possible in Gift City or not. I would not like you to mention on that. It is a very debatable point and talk of the town. So being a government authority, I will not put you in an awkward situation. Puneet, you have a couple of questions. If then time is left, then I'll take up other questions. Otherwise, Dipesh Bhai has already given his email ID. So all the participants can take benefit of whatever questions that are that may generate afterwards, can take benefit of that. Puneet, please.
Sure. So thanks, Amish ji, and kudos to Amish ji and Nitesh ji to put the regulator and the business development heads put together on one screen, and the smoothness of both the sides. I work in a sector where no bank chairman or a CEO dares to take over a presentation of RBI chairman and carry it forward. I think kudos to you guys, and this clearly shows me the camaraderie and the kind of team effort you guys are leading to take Gift to the next level. So I came with a mindset that Gift is a gateway to world, or rather for overseas guys, gateway to India. But I think after looking at the presentation and the discussion, what I realize is it's a global hub, similar to akin to London or New York or Hong Kong or Singapore, neither a gateway to India or gateway to the world. So thanks for your time. So my questions are, I will start with a basic question. What it takes to start a private limited company or equivalent to private limited company in India or LLP in GIFT? Are there eligibility criteria? Yes, there are. I checked on the website. Can you just elaborate in a simple way what it takes to be eligible?
Yeah, one can open any type of business entity, whether you want to do partnership, LLP, private limited, public limited company. All formats are available in most of the verticals. Even a branch, so a professional firm, say for example, a chartered accountancy firm can even open a branch also and provide and ring fence his balance sheet for the IFFC business. Banks are all in the branch format. So in certain businesses, we are allowed branches. Most of the cases we have seen this separate wholly owned subsidiary or an SPV has been created. Like aircraft leasing, it is required to have a separate SPV to be created. So it's similar to a company getting registered under the Indian Companies Act. However, from a FAMA perspective, this entity in the IFFC becomes a non-resident entity. So the domestic local FAMA regulation does not apply to an entity in IFFC. However, when you are opening the company from India as an wholly owned subsidiary, the ODI norms, the overseas direct investment norms, will be required to be followed for opening a entity in the IFFC zone. Otherwise, in GIFT domestic zone, any form of entity, Sandip want to highlight, any form of entities can also can come up.
Just to add, I think Dipesh has personally worked on that assignment. There are 59 clauses of the Companies Act which do not apply when you set up your company in IFSC. So I think that provides quite kind of ease of operations for the companies being set up in the IFSC for the various businesses.
Just a minute. One related question on that. Is it so that because there is MAT and AMT 9% on LLP and private limited companies, and does it mean that on proprietorship and partnership firms that 9% MAT or AMT withholding means minimum alternate tax will not be applicable?
Currently, for the IFFC, most of the businesses that you can do is in the form of LLP or in the form of a private or a public limited company. Sole proprietorship in the IFFC is anyway not permitted. So either they will fall under the MAT or the AMT, most of the entities.
So Dipesh, you mean to say that there would be a difficulty for an individual professional to register himself or herself in the IFSC as a service provider? He necessarily needs to be in an LLP format or a private limited, right?
Correct. So currently also, I think most of the professional firms, they would have their own, partnership or the LLP or the other formats. So in that format, they can also come, partnership firms can also come, but we encourage that it is in some corporate form. So if it's a private limited company, it is a public limited company, it becomes much more stronger. But partnership firms have also come, so that is also allowed. However, for the tax side, I think we need to examine whether what Amish was saying, what type of the alternate minimum tax will apply to that.
So in India, we have a concept of OPC, one person company. Is that allowed?
It is allowed.
Okay, great. So my next question is more to do with trade. India happens to be one of the largest producers of various, various commodities like milk or coffee, sugar, iron ore. I belong to Birla Group. Hindalco is largest in aluminum or carbon, the carbon black. So a lot of trading of these happen offshore. So what are the steps or what are the things which you are going to offer to all these corporates to encourage them to move to GIFT rather than to continue working at Singapore?
See, this is going to be an ongoing process. So like when we started the international exchanges in GIFT City, the first question came to us was, would there be liquidity? And initially it started with $100 million. Now on a daily basis, average daily trading volume on the IFFC exchanges has moved up to $10 billion per day. And similarly for USD INR, when we started, there were hardly some few million contracts which got registered. Now close to $173 billion of transactions has happened. So as we move and more products and participants comes, we see that there is no reason why Hindalco and others would need to hedge or do the trading in the overseas Singapore or Dubai market. They can very well do it from the IFFC market itself.
Yeah. Just to add what Dipesh mentioned, the one of the new framework which has been now issued is on the global treasury operations. So Hindalco kind of companies or any kind of corporates in India can actually set up their global treasury arm in GIFT City to manage their all overseas assets in terms of hedging your commodities, currencies, or raising of capital debt. That that is possible now through the IFSC framework.
Yeah, good, Sandip. Just to confirm that we just raised our largest ECB of Hindalco from GIFT. Axis Bank was the arranger very recently, last 15 days back. So that's why I took this example. Now, what we have seen globally is assets are being financialized or, converting into a REIT basically for real estate asset class or any company, issuing shares, debentures, and then they are further digitized. And then now there is talks about derivatives. So what kind of derivatives do we allow in GIFT or GIFT City?
Yeah. Sandip,
what all asset classes there are derivatives available?
Yeah. So today, both the exchanges trade commodity derivatives, currency derivatives, equity derivatives, index derivatives as well. And commodities include even metals, and they are also planning to have crude oil kind of products. So I think in terms of the derivatives, the product portfolio is quite large, and they are with the Global Connect, they are trying to expand into the various new products as well.
Sure, and kudos on moving SGX to India. It belonged to India and it is back.
Yeah. One more point: we have BSC, NSE, but still we do not have commodity exchange. Yeah, so it may come in future, right?
But the bullion exchange is anyway the part of the
COMEX.
group. Yeah.
COMEX.
And the good part in IFSC GIFT City is the single exchange provides all the products. So you don't need separate commodity exchange or a currency exchange. A single India Annex or the NSE exchange can provide all the product portfolio, including commodities, currencies, equities, and so and so.
So maybe any more questions, Puneet bhai? Maybe 8:30 it is already.
Can we have a last question?
Maybe last one from me. What we have seen is $100 billion kind of transactions, banking transactions in last 5 years. What is your time frame to take it to 1 trillion? Is it in few months or another 5 years? Number one. Number two, we have asset base of $25 billion in GIFT in last 5 to 6 years. What is your vision to take it to $100 billion? That's my last question. Thank you.
I think as you can imagine, for any financial center, it is just like a stock market. The more participants comes, suddenly you see the graph keeps going up. And we have seen in last 14 months, from 14 billion to $24 billion. In last 14 months, $10 billion of asset size has increased. And we have no doubt in our mind that more and more corporates, more and more professionals, more and more business entrepreneurs starts knowing about the benefit the IFFC at GIFT City provides. More and more participation will increase. And if we can establish Dubai with $200 billion of Indian assets sitting in the banks in DIFC Dubai, that can easily be brought back to IFFC in GIFT City in no time. And we really seeing that banks are shutting down their overseas operations, consolidating those businesses in the IFFC. So in coming few years, I think some of the targets which you said would be realized in GIFT City for sure.
And considering today's participation from JITO members, I don't think it is so far now from here.
Yeah, Sandip, look forward. It's a matter of mindset and the mindset of working in territories and kingdoms. In any foreign bank, it definitely matters that the boss is sitting outside India and he would like to have his own team doing things. If he has to move to GIFT or GIFT City, he has to make a conscious decision that he has to have an empowered team there rather than only the custodians. Which is what we see today, but that's a good start, at least having a custodian in the GIFT City. And going forward, I think we'll have real investment managers and the real decision makers in these banks and the funds. Thanks.
Yeah, true. Even all the Indian banks also will be over a period of time closing their foreign entities and branches and will be shifting their business to GIFT City. So hopefully, it will be a great happening place. And we sitting in Ahmedabad are looking forward to a lot of, because we have already finalized 12,500 square feet in GIFT City just now, and looking forward to a very good opportunities to serve the trade and industry and take advantage of the government, this great initiative. Yeah, thank you from my side. Over to Nitesh, please.
That's a wonderful presentations from Sandip bhai and Dipesh bhai. I think lot many questions are there. So many been answered, so many been covered in the presentations. But of course, Dipesh bhai has given his email ID. So I would request all the members, you have any further questions on a setup or any further on a gift city, you can email to the Dipesh bhai and certainly connect to JITO also to get a more idea about it. Over to Tapaswi Lal Devraji for vote of thanks if possible.
Thank you, Nitesh ji. I thank Shri Injeti, Srinivas, Shri Sandip Shah, and Shri Dipesh educating us and even clarifying a lot of questions. Your presentation was so clear. I am sure that most of the questions would have got answered automatically. We have given us an array of opportunities that we can explore and benefit out of. I'm sure many of our members will join you for a physical tour of Gift City and set up their centers. I must say that the live photos shown bundled with the financial benefits excite us. Sri Srinivas ji very rightly told that a series of dialogues and discussions will be required to effectively understand how to set up our footprint in Gift City. We thank you for the detailed and informative session. Sir, seeing the feedback of our members already flowing into our groups, members who could not attend are already asking me for its recording. This itself shows how good the session was. Now, I thank the entire team of JITO Gujarat and JITO Ahmedabad for organizing such an amazing and useful session. Wishing you a very joyous Sunday. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jai
Thank
Jinendra.
you. Thank
Once
you.
again for your wonderful time. Thanks once again. Thank you.
You can end the call. नितेश जी सेशन तो बहुत अच्छा गया नितेश जी आई थिंक ऑलरेडी received at least 4-5 messages of people who have not attended कि मेरे को link चाहिए.
Yeah, certainly we have a recording for everything, so
Yes.
certainly we can provide it tomorrow.
Yes, 100%. It was very good, very informative. Now, you guys will have to take, your team will take it. You have to take it up to actually, give our members the physical tour so that they can actually benefit out of it.
Yeah, certainly. We actually wanted to do that initially, but because of a COVID, we're not able to do for last 2 months, and finally we decided we'll go on with at least with webinar, because
Yes.
budget has given us lots of comprehensive benefits on the gift side. So this would certainly help the members and going forward. And we will be coming for a fraternity which will strongly connect the business ideas and what we have in a gift here.
Very, very, very well said, sir. Yes.
So that's a good time for us, I feel. And they've been very supportive to JITO and the overall fraternity. So any of members would approach them, or anybody wants to have further detailing, that will really going to help us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again for everybody, for and all the admin team for making it more successful. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.